Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Garning with True Speed Communication. On behalf of everyone at Stewart Haas Racing and Bass Pro Shops, I want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day today to be here for this announcement. First, I want to introduce the founder of Bass Pro Shops, Johnny Morris, and the three-time and reigning NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion, Tony Stewart. Johnny, a heck of an event last night in Springfield, Missouri. We're here to talk about it officially in front of the NASCAR Media Corps. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Stewart Haas Racing next year.
Well, we're just we're darn excited. It's like a dream coming true, and it's probably as much of a surprise today after we had a little party last night in our hometown Springfield, because that's where we wanted to let everybody at Bass Pro know what was up, and we're very proud that this coming season we're going to be the primary sponsor for Tony Stewart and be on the hood of his number 14 car. I'll have a big green fish up there, and we're very happy about it.
Tony, this is the culmination of a more than decade-long partnership with Bass Pro Shops. Talk about what began as a simple personal services agreement that ended up being Bass Pro Shops on your late model to where now it's a primary sponsor on your Sprint Cup car.
Well, it actually started before that. It was, we got introduced to each other and became friends, and then we just started doing things to work together, whether it was be on our sprint car program or every year at the Prelude making it a Bass Pro Shop car. But it's grown over the years, and there really was never an opportunity like this for us to do something together till now. And I think it's something, like Johnny said, it's definitely a dream come true for me, and I think Johnny feels that way. And the best part is it's not just a new partnership. It's a friendship that developed into a partnership, and that's something that I think makes this so unique versus other deals that you see out there.
In some details, Bass Pro Shops will be on the hood of Stewart's number 14 Chevrolet for 18 races, including the Daytona 500 next year. Mobil One, the world's leading synthetic motor oil brand, will be on the hood for 11 races. 9 primary races are still available on the 14 car. And Johnny, again, a great opportunity, but strong history in the sport. And if you want to talk a little bit about everything that you guys have done in the sport from Earnhardt Sr. to where you've been in the last couple of years with Earnhardt Ganassi Racing.
Well, we love being here at this place. It's an awesome place to make this announcement. Talladega is about our favorite racetrack, or certainly one of them. And, we got introduced to this sport by Dale Earnhardt Sr. and his friend and partner Richard Childress. And anyways, the economy is rough, and every company, every family, everybody has to watch our budgets in this kind of economy. And as a private company, we have a very long-term view about investment and how we look for the long-term future of our business in making investments. NASCAR is not cheap at all, but we look back over the years how it's helped build our brand, Bass Pro Shops, Tracker Boats. And our brands are very important to us and our company. And we have, recently Bass Pro Shop was named one of the top hottest brands in America by Advertising Age magazine, which is kind of the premier publication for marketing in this country. And there's no doubt that our involvement with racing and NASCAR was a big part of that in building our brands. We also see, and especially like with Tony, the influence. We think racing helps grow the sports of hunting and fishing. And you see somebody like Tony that has such a huge influence on young people, especially, mostly good influence. but if these kids see that Tony, how much he really loves to hunt and fish, and these kids, then maybe it puts a little spark in their heart that maybe they want to spend more time and go fish or hunt. And so that's another reason that we invest in this sport. And I think last but certainly not least, is the biggest thing for the future of our outdoor industry and the sports that we love is how do we manage our natural resources or conservation. And we have utilized NASCAR over the years, and like this year in the All-Star race, Tony drove a special paint scheme that was a Bass Pro Shops Tony Stewart salute to the members of the National Wild Turkey Federation. So there's many reasons that kind of come together, and least which it's a lot of fun too to be involved in this sport. So we just love being here, and having the opportunity to go forward with Tony at this level is a whole new frontier for us.
And a prime example of that, Tony Stewart was the honorary chair of National Hunting and Fishing Day this year back on September 29th. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. Again, this will also serve as Tony's media availability, so please state your name and affiliation. Folks from Talladega, Super Speed do have mics. We'll start with Stan.
I'd like to just say one more thing real quick, and that's, I mentioned earlier we got in this sport because of Dale Sr. and Richard Childress, and we've had, I just want to say our regard for myself and everybody in our company for Jamie McMurray, for Chip Ganassi. We've been loyally aligned with them for a long period of time. Our agreement came to an end, and we had this, what I call once-in-a-lifetime chance to hook up with Tony. But we're still real close with Chip and Jamie. We hope to do some things with them in the future, and I just wanted to thank them and everybody over there at Earnhardt Ganassi Racing too.
Very good, well said. All right, Stan.
Okay, Stan Creekmore from RPMtonight.com. Congratulations, number one, Tony. Number two, having known you for as long as I've known you and watched everything you've done, I got to hear a fish or a hunting story now, because that's the one thing I haven't heard from you.
Well, I can tell one quick one. I mean, I was very fortunate that after one of the Texas races, Johnny had bought a trip through the charity and for a day and invited me to go with him, and we got to go to a hatchery and watch how the Texas area is working on conservation and bringing up new bass, but that was part of our day. But we actually got to fish, and we were I was on the back of the boat, Johnny was in the middle, and for those people who don't know how to worm fish, basically you're fishing off the bottom, so you really aren't watching your lure. And I was working a topwater lure, so you can see everything that's going on. And Johnny is fishing over here. His lure is this direction, mine's over here, and he's watching mine the whole time. And every time we probably caught 60 bass that day, I would say. But a 12-pound largemouth hits this topwater lure, and I thought we were going to have to catch two fish because I had one on the hook and Johnny was almost in the water. But that's still to this day my favorite story with Johnny fishing, and it's still the largest bass I've ever caught.
I missed it 3 times in a row with the net, and every time I tried it, I wanted to get this fish as bad or worse than he did. I was so nervous. He's got more steady nerves than I do. Every time I try to net this bass, I just goose it. They go pulling out the drag again. Finally, we got it, but it was a cool time.
All right, Ed.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Tony, as we always talk about coming to the Talladega Scramble, maybe the game changer, that sort of thing, guys like you and Clint Boyer who are sitting just off that top 3 there, might you and maybe Clint be sitting in about as good a position to take advantage of these potential game changers as anybody this weekend?
Well, I think everybody that's in the chase has an opportunity to gain or lose from it. There's certainly an opportunity to gain if the 3 guys in front of us would have problems, or 4 guys in front of us would have problems. But at the same time, that same opportunity that could help us could also be what hurts us and takes us out of the opportunity to get caught up and give us a chance to get caught up in the chase. So it's definitely a scenario that could go either way at this point.
And also, having won the last plate race, does that translate not at all from Daytona to here, or maybe a little bit from Daytona to here?
You got to remember, this is a chess match, and I'm a checkers player. So it's I wish I could say it does. I mean, luckily it's the same car that we ran at Daytona, and it had good speed there, but it's still no guarantee. That's the unfortunate part. It's just so hard to we had to fight against the 16 and 17 car working together, and we're fortunate enough to be in the right spot when the caution came out. But it's very much a guessing game at this point. But at least in the back of our minds, we're going into this weekend knowing that we do have a fast race car that we know can get up there and get to the front.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. 2 quick questions. The first is, how long have you been working on this with Brass Pro Shops and how relieved to have this right now. And then the second is, and I'll let you answer the first question first, and then I got a quick follow-up.
Actually, we worked on it, and you know, we went to Johnny and knew that there might be the possibility that Office Depot might be leaving, but at the same time, we knew that the U.S. Army had already made their decision that they were leaving, and so we gave him different options and said, hey, if we know, you know, the one thing about Johnny is he's very loyal, and you know, we weren't trying to steal him away from anybody, but we just threw it out there that if he ever decided to make a change, that we had opportunities now that we really hadn't had in the past to do something. And you know, when Office Depot made their announcement, then it was, you know, then it was very clear that we had an opportunity on our car as well. So that's when we went to him and we worked on it. I'd say all the way pretty much through Richmond until we made a decision.
And I remember when you used to come to Talladega, and you'd be out on pit road, and it is hair-raising track, fearful. I mean, there was a certain feel about it. Now NASCAR being safer, much more relaxed. But I can recall when you used to come here, and it was bad. You feel so much safer now on the safety aspect of this track and this car?
Well, definitely. I mean, the track's done its part, you know, taking away areas of grass that and have paved those areas, so now it gives us a better opportunity to get slowed down. And definitely the cars are much safer than what they were, you know, 10-15 years ago. So it definitely gives you a little bit of that sense of security. The hard thing is you still know in the back of your mind that you can be caught up in a big wreck. So it's nice having that safety aspect in the back of your mind, but I don't think anybody in the garage will tell you that they're 100% as safe as we would like them to be, but I don't think you're ever going to get in that scenario. I don't think there's ever going to be a case where you're like, I can't get hurt in a race car. So, you know, but you trust the guys you're around, and you know that that's why they call them accidents, because it truly is an accident.
I think we got one back there. Go ahead.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Johnny, sorry, over here, Johnny.
Oh, I got you.
We remember the great times that you've had with Tony in the past at Eldora and other places like that. I mean, you've had a long-standing relationship with him. Can you talk about that relationship? Will it continue with Richard Childress Racing? Will we see any Bass Pro Shop on at EGR next year? And also, why is the NASCAR demographic important to Bass Pro Shops?
Well, I'm here today. I'm proudly here today with my two chief NASCAR advisors, my kind of adopted son, Z-Man Zachary Morgan over there, and my son, John Paul, or other buddy, Rob Boss. So I always get input from them. But anyway, I think we do plan to continue on with Richard's grandsons and have involvement there as much as we can, and maybe some more with Jamie as well. We have this Bass Pro Racing team that we call it, and so we hope to continue on with them. And could you refresh my memory the rest of the question?
NASCAR's demographic, why is it attractive to Bass Pro Shops?
A lot of NASCAR fans like to hunt and fish. And we came to realize that the first time we sponsored Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s car in the All-Star race. It was amazing, but in a 30-day period, they sold over $10 million worth of caps, T-shirts, and die-cast cars. And that just spoke to us, you know, obviously the popularity of Dale Sr., popularity of NASCAR, and how many of those fans wanted to buy a souvenir that had Bass Pro on it to say, hey, we like to hunt and fish and like the outdoors too. So and then we follow the ratings, and sometimes we look at those, and sometimes we just say, hey, we want to go do this.
All right. We'll go with Marty, and then Tom, and then David.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Tony, there's this legend that this place is cursed. What do you make of that legend?
I still don't believe it. I haven't seen anything that gives evidence that it is, so I don't know much about it, and I've never seen anything that makes you think it really is.
Tom.
Hi, Tony. Tom Jensen with Speed.com. Congratulations. You said you've got 9 races left and some inventory left on Ryan's car. If you needed to, could you go forward with 2013 with what you've got now? And, you know, how critical is it going to be to fill the rest of the cars?
Well, it's important that we fill it, but you know, I've got a great partner with Gene Haas, and obviously he's all in with this program, and he's not going to let it not succeed. So, you know, Haas Automation could fill in if we needed to, but it's you know, it's our hope that we can find somebody that can carry those last 9 races for us and be a good partner with Bass Pro Shops and Mobile One, and you know, really tie this all together and complete it. But you know, we do have Haas Automation as a safety net, so to speak, if we really needed it. But we prefer to, you know, my goal as his business partner is to not have to fall back on him and have to utilize his resource that way.
Thank you.
David?
David Caravella, NASCAR.com. Tony, 2 quick ones. First of all, how have you been able to restock your sponsorship inventory so quickly after the Army and the Office Depot announcements?
The National Enquirer helped a bunch, jump our popularity through the roof. So that was a big key. No, it's you know, it's just great partners and great relationships. In all honesty, I mean, Tuesday we had a great announcement, you know, of doubling Quicken Loans inventory on Ryan's car, and you know, I just feel like that our marketing staff and our organization really has the mindset that we're about. We call them partners. We don't call them sponsors. They're partners of ours, and they're partners for the reason of the whole idea is to make it good for both sides. It doesn't work if it works for one side and doesn't work for the other, and you know, I think that's something that we've been able to convey to potential sponsors, to existing sponsors, and you know, I think that's why it works. So you know, we had misfortune with, you know, unfortunately losing U.S. Army and Office Depot, but I think our reputation as a company has helped us, you know, be able to acquire that inventory back this quick.
On Talladega, did you take notice of the way Brad won here in the spring, breaking away from Kyle on that last lap? Do you think that might factor into how guys race the final lap here this weekend?
I just hope I'm in that position on the last lap. You know, I think the hard thing is I don't know that there's ever 2 scenarios that are exactly the same, so I'm not sure that what works for one guy is exactly going to work for another guy. It's you really have to, that whole last lap, you have to analyze every 100 feet what you're doing and what your plan is. So it's you know, I don't think anybody sits there and starts that last lap saying this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm going to have to do. At the end of it, you just it's pretty much calling an audible the whole way around, trying to figure out and assess what they're doing as a part of what you're going to have to do.
George?
Yeah, Tony over here. George Diaz, Orlando Sentinel. What do you think the viability is of establishing some sort of knockout round during the chase?
I have no idea. I don't know if it's being discussed or if it's just an idea that's being tossed around. But it's, you know, the great thing is NASCAR did a really good job, I think, of establishing the chase format. And, you know, if they ever decide to adjust that and tweak it a little bit, you know, they don't just make rash decisions when it comes to something like that. I feel like that they would put a lot of time and effort into making that decision. But from a competitor standpoint, it doesn't matter to us what system they use as long as we know it going into it, and you know, you still just do the best you can. So I don't think it matters to us as long as it's good for the sport.
David?
Johnny, David Scott from the Charlotte Observer. Can you talk to us a little bit more about, in this economy, kind of what goes into your decisions when you're thinking about coming on the NASCAR and that kind of thing?
I go back, it's long term. You know, if you want to take this money and invest it in something short term like newspaper ads, circulate more catalogs, you could get more, you know, more immediate payback maybe than having a decal on a race car. But as far as the long-term health of the company and the popularity of brands, I mean, it's amazing for us. We depend a lot on our own brands, and so we sell a lot of commodity items. We go head-to-head with Walmart, with all the other merchants out there on every name brand item. Our own brands, we make a healthy margin, but we also save our customers money. And so it's having that long-term look. Stan Lippelman, a lot of sophisticated folks in our marketing department, they do analyze numbers, you know, and the ratings from TV and all those things are available. But we also do a lot of focus groups with our customers and just intuitively looking at the trucks that come in our parking lot and the T-shirts that our customers are wearing and so forth. It's many factors out there that cause us to feel good about getting a solid return on this investment.
Any other questions? Okay, Bob.
Bob Pocker, Sporting News. Johnny, can you say how long the deal is for, and also how long did it take you to decide on this? I mean, once you knew that there were races available, was it, did you know that day you were going to do it?
That's a good question. If I did, I didn't let him know that day, but it didn't take us too long to shake hands, and that's kind of how this came about. A lot was a handshake, and just something that we've had. Tony said a shared dream, and I really feel that's the case. It's something we both had just a dream maybe to do. And I've had the privilege to get to know Tony's mom and dad, his farm manager, go spend time with him and just see around. And, we talk about all these things and you ask, well, what's the economic impact? Tony wakes up every day with a passion to be like the best race driver in the world that's ever been. And I think that's contagious to people in our company who also have a lot of pride. And how do you put a price tag on this? To have inspiration, as our folks wake up every day, how can we take the best care of the customers, and how can we be number one in our field in the outdoor industry? And so I just would, my feeling too is, Tony, from myself, from everybody in the company, just our admiration for you, our regard for you, and the opportunity to do this. We're really on cloud nine, and we're just so looking forward to this. We just tore straight a little bit at a time. We might know how long it is, but we don't want all of our bankers to know just yet.
Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. For Tony, knowing that over the past, 4 seasons here, you've gotten a better appreciation of what team ownership and sponsorship is like. Is there any it's a great day for you, but is there any remorse at all that it's kind of a zero-sum game here, that you're benefiting at the expense of another team that's losing a sponsor, and when they shift around like that?
Yeah, you always feel bad, especially when it's somebody like Jamie McMurray and Chip. Those are two guys that I think the world of, and I raced with Jamie in go-karts when we were both little, so it is sad on that side. There is still a business side to this as well, and like I mentioned earlier, I didn't go to Johnny trying to steal a sponsor from somebody. We just let it be known to him that if there was ever an opportunity, we had an opportunity available on our side, and if he ever decided that he was wanting to make a change, we wanted him to know that we were available if that were ever the case. So Chip's somebody that I think will bounce back from this very quickly. I have the utmost confidence in that. He's great with his sponsors, and Jamie is a very easy sell in my opinion. He's a great driver. He's a great personality, and I don't think it'll be long, and you'll see them come up with something very quick to replace it.
I'd share that. I think the future for them is pretty bright too.
Any other questions before we head outside for our car unveiling? And it is different from the car that you guys saw last night on Twitter, so I will say that. All right, thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time. We'll head outside. Again, Tony will be available, as will Johnny, once we unveil the car. Thank you, everyone.